Hello, hello. Welcome back to the podcast. It's your girl, Kamie Crawford. And today we have someone who I have been admiring from afar.
That's so wild.
She doesn't believe it.
Sorry.
I'm so good. Okay, we have Katherine E here on the podcast. Welcome, Katherine.
Hi.
She is an influencer, content creator, and host of the I Think I'm Human Too podcast. And a fucking hilarious human being.
Thank you.
You really are.
Thank
You're so
you.
much fun. And
Do you
I
hear
love
that,
your content.
everybody?
Raphael is also in the building, guys.
Right.
But
Rafi's here for the crowd.
He doesn't have a mic. He's here for moral support and comic relief. Thank you so much for joining us also on the sidelines. But this is about Katherine. So
You hear that? Thank you.
This is
Thank
all
you
about
for
Queen
articulating
Katherine.
that for me.
I'm so glad that you're here.
I'm happy to be here.
All the way
when
from
you DM'd
Minnesota.
me, I was like, this is a joke. I literally was like, if the blue check mark wasn't there, I'd probably be like, scam.
It's a catfish,
Yeah.
obviously. But like legit.
No pun intended.
Legitimately. No, I had to reach out because I've been watching all of your content. I just love how like vulnerable you are. And also just like funny. You're just so funny.
Thank you.
You make me laugh.
Yeah, that's the gist of it. Real and raw is what you get.
Yeah.
There's so many days where like doing influencing and content creating, like you feel like you have to be perfect all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm just not that.
Right.
I'm like, I'm
Same.
going to be crying, listening to Hannah Montana or thugging it out. Like you just never know. It depends on the day.
Exactly. Exactly. What made you want to start posting in general? Because I know that you being a content creator has been the cause of a lot of drama in your life.
Dramas and traumas.
Dramas and
We love them.
traumas. But I'm pretty sure you didn't start it with that in mind. You started content creating how many years ago?
Well, I grew up with social media. So in middle school, Snapchat came out and I was the girly that would post anything and everything. Like you were constantly like tapping through my stories.
You had like, it was dots.
Yes, 100%. And I was like, just skip it if you don't like it. But I did not care. And then TikTok became a thing and I just lost my job from COVID. So I started in 2020 on TikTok just for fun. And it just kind of like got traction from there. Again, like the funny stuff.
Yeah.
And then my dad and husband really got on with it. So it was like kind of the three of us. We were always doing funny videos, just having a good time. And people started to like get to know them. And they're basically like characters in my life to them online. They wanted to see that. Then when it took a turn and it really, really took off, my dad passed and I've never lost anyone. So not only was he like a best friend to me, but it was also like, it was just so new. I had never experienced grief before, but I couldn't just hide it from the world. Like he was on my socials. I had to share that. And so I had posted it and the amount of people that flooded me with similar experiences or just sharing their grief, I was just like, holy crap, because I never experienced it. And then that was when I really started sharing like real stuff, no matter what we're going through, because it used to be just like really funny and lighthearted. And then I was like, there's so many things that people go through every single day and you just feel alone in them because it's embarrassing to be vulnerable, or it does open a lot of space for people to just fully attack you.
Right.
So it takes thick skin, and then you sign in the next day and are like, I'm going to do it again.
Yeah.
But that's just kind of what got me started and got us to here. And I love it though.
Yeah.
I did not expect it at all.
It's such a crazy thing because I'll go through things in my life and I'll be like, I should share this. Like this would really help someone. Or like maybe there are other people that are experiencing this. But then I'm like, what's your sign?
Libra.
I'm a Scorpio. So we're like right next to each other. But I'm like, then I'll go to this other Scorpio darkness part of my brain. Like, but if I post about it, people are going to feel entitled to more information.
And they are.
And they are. How did you feel like when you were posting about your grieving process, which is a forever process? Did you feel responsible for other people, like in posting about your grief? Like, did you feel responsible for their journey as well? Does that make sense?
I am very unemotional, actually, which is funny. Well, I used to be very cutthroat, like very turn off, just very selfish of my own energies. And that's kind of been different to navigate because now I feel so much. And I've never experienced that either. And then the grief, people do want to share their stories. And I've been I've had so many DMs or emails and they're dark stuff. And especially right when it happened, I didn't have the mental space to even read them. So that was one thing I just decided to stop allowing it in and stop reading them until I was really ready, because people want to feel like they have a space. And we had people submit emails so we could share the voice, because a lot of people will reach out and be like, I want to share my story, but I don't have the platform. So it's been a learning journey of like building the platform for people, but also not internalizing it. It's hard. It's really hard. And it's a muddy water. But I'm also blessed because when I got this following, I'm like, what do I have this following for? And then when that happened, I was like, okay, well, let me give people the platform to be safe and to share their journey. And it's just been different. I don't know. It's kind of hard because every day is different. Some days I'm like, tell me everything, and I am an open door for everybody. And some days I'm like, F you all. Like, I have to turn off socials and I just want to be left alone. So every day is a different day.
How do you set those boundaries with yourself as far as what you're posting, how often you're posting? Like, do you ever feel pressure?
Every day.
Yeah.
Every day. I was just texting my manager yesterday and I was like, I feel like I just have to post every single day. And then when it doesn't do well, this world is instant gratification, just normal for everybody. But then also you have the pressures of social media. If something doesn't do well, you're like, do people hate me?
No,
like,
I should just delete my account.
Yeah. And I've never been like that because that being here was never the goal. And so now I'm like, why do I care how many likes I have or how many views I have? If I'm proud of the product, I'm going to continue posting. Therapy, honestly, is one where I was just like really just working through somebody who's not in the world to just in the social media world to just give me an unbiased opinion, but also professional opinion too of like, Katherine, you don't owe everybody everything. And she kind of explained the analogy. I shared this on my podcast previously. Like, I'm a Target, right? When you think of yourself as a department store that offers a lot to a lot of people, you still have closing hours, and like you can still take off Christmas Day. You can still close at 5 p.m. You can donate billions and billions of dollars to however many people you want. But if someone's stealing a $7 candy bar, you can still kick them out of your store. And that analogy really helped me because I sit back and I'm like, okay, like I'm still human too. And yeah, that's just kind of like what I live off of now. I'm just like, it's okay to just close my doors and open back up tomorrow or however many days it takes.
You're like, I'm a Target. I don't know what to tell you. But then I think about when Target did announce that they were going to be closed on, was it Thanksgiving Day? The comments, people were like, how could you?
Yeah.
I need to be able to comment. And like, I'm sure you get people like that too, who feel like if ever you're holding back from something or you say, I'm not going to speak on something, people are like, well, I need you to speak about this.
Yeah.
People just feel
Yeah.
entitled to things a lot.
Raphael is really the one person that like gets me through that. We've been going through something in our personal life where, again, back to the word, people think that these people in my life are characters and it's just a TV show, but it's not. It's real life and it's my life, and they're not just characters. They're real people.
Yeah.
So he just kind of reminds me that it's like when as a whole, the millions of people that watch us, if you were to break down by percentage, the 10 people that are begging for more and are like, F you, you have to share more. Like, you put everything else online. It's like, what is that percent? It's less than 0.1.
Yeah.
Why are we playing around with that?
Right.
And why am I letting that 1% affect me so deeply? And just really just remembering that and trying to think of like a full percentage. I'm like, when you put it in like a scheme of things, you're just like, be so for real right now. I just kind of laugh it off. And I'm like, okay, whatever. And then things just fizzle out. So
yeah,
kind of how it goes.
When you started posting about the loss of your dad, which by the way, I was like tempted to bring espresso martinis in today, but I was like,
I would have downed that.
Early. It's only 1
It's
p.m.
never too early for an espresso martini. My dad would be embarrassed that you just.
Oh my God, sorry. Sorry, Bill. Sorry,
R.I.P. Bill. I'm so sorry.
I should have brought him. I should have fucking brought it. I knew I should have fucking brought it. Wait, did he drink his with vodka or with tequila?
Vodka. Bill,
I like
Bill
with
and I are
tequila.
not. They're good, but tequila does me dirty.
Oh.
I'll pee the bed.
I did see you post that.
Yeah.
That was real?
A bedwetter is me. Tequila does me dirty.
Tequila bedwetter. You should
100%.
make merch that says tequila bedwetter.
I feel like I would be shocked at how many people would actually purchase.
Everybody would purchase. I feel like I would purchase even though I have never wet the bed.
Really?
Well, I mean, I have. But like, I think the last time I was like 12, maybe.
Yeah, no. Mine was like a year ago. And that was my last time drinking tequila.
What'd you drink? Casamigos?
No,
818 Don Julio.
no, it was honestly, I think it was like 1800 and it was served at like, they didn't have many options there and that was why I went with that. Casamigos is normally my girl, but
Yeah.
not anymore. We actually had a friendship breakup, but it's okay.
Casamigos
Wish
is
her
not
well.
your amigo.
Wish her well.
Yes.
I love anyone that's friends with her, but
Yeah.
she's just not my friend
She
anymore.
can't hang with me anymore.
Yeah.
I just wonder, like, because I saw the initial video that you had posted. I think it was you were just documenting what had happened with him.
Holy crap, you've been around for a minute.
I've been paying attention.
That's craziness.
Hello. I watch I'm on TikTok a lot.
I love it. Same.
So if this TikTok ban goes through, I'm fucked because what
No,
am I gonna watch?
Literally.
What am I gonna
Like,
watch?
Netflix is not that great right now.
No, it's not. And I just like prop up my phone and I'll be eating and swiping at the same time. But it seems like you kind of slipped into posting about your grief and the loss of your dad, obviously. I just wonder for you, did you feel like it was helping you heal? Like, how did you think about posting about that in the first place?
I've just always posted my life. And then again, the initial video when it really showed me how many people were out there and are like, just even not to get like very deep here, but like I was there with him.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like signs that I didn't know. I originally thought he was choking because he was eating a granola bar. Oh my God. Okay. Anyways. And there's like, I shared online that it was cardiac arrest. And I remember being in the moment, like he was like clenching his fists. And I also have a type 1 diabetic brother. So like it almost looked like a seizure too at the same time. So I didn't know what was happening. And when I shared that, there was multiple medical professionals that reached out and is like shared their knowledge and are like, that's actually your heart pumping everything, trying to get all the blood to rush back to your heart.
Wow.
I didn't know that.
I didn't either.
And so when I saw that and I saw those comments, I was like, holy shit, because we should have done CPR and we're sitting here all trying to get him to do the Heimlich again. And then like when we realized he wasn't choking, then I'm like, we just didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
And actually just within the last month, a woman had reached out and she was like, you saved my mom's life by sharing that.
Wow.
And I was like, really? And she's like, I had no idea that was what it was. And we immediately started CPR and she's still here.
Wow.
And that's just what kept me going. And I was like, okay. Obviously, it's like still emotional. I'm able to talk about it, but it was like, that is truly why. I'm like, I don't care what you say about me. I don't care if I heal in different ways. Like, and I'm never going to sit here and say I saved a life, but just awareness to me is so important.
Yeah.
Because if I could go back and know that like the small possibility of starting CPR right away possibly could have saved his life, of course I would do that.
Yeah. I
So-
mean, who would, if you're not a trained medical professional, how would you know that?
Yeah. But even just now, like the people in this room, like you never know what you're going to go through.
Yeah.
You never know what you'll experience. And again, like the small chance that it could save somebody else out there, I'm down to be the vulnerable one to just share it.
Yeah. Did he have any history of heart issues or
No.
anything?
No, it was originally deemed cardiac arrest. And then a year goes past and I actually just went to my cardiologist and they needed his autopsy report. So I had to dig through that and reading through it, it was actually his diet caused like a closure in his heart that he didn't know that was closing. And then the lack of exercise, his heart wasn't strong enough. So if he would have had a better lifestyle, the heart attack probably would have never happened. But even if it would have happened, if he would have worked out, his heart would have been strong enough to possibly push through it.
Yeah.
So that was the other thing too, where I was just like, my brother that I'm very close with, we wanted our dad to eat healthier. And by no means was he a very large man, but we knew he wasn't a healthy man. And that kind of sucked looking at reading because I'm like, for a year, I thought it was just a random fluke cardiac arrest and whatever. And then when I read that, I was like, damn, like we pushed him so many times to like eat a salad without 10,000 pounds of blue cheese on it. But yeah, it was definitely a life experience that I wasn't prepared for, but I don't know. It was weird.
Yeah. I feel like there's nothing that can prepare you. My uncle passed from cardiac arrest as well. Bad diet. Like, I mean, they said it was cardiac arrest,
Yeah.
but I was like, I mean, he was drinking like 5 liters of Mountain Dew a week. Like,
Yeah.
it didn't necessarily surprise me, although I loved him to death and he was the best uncle, but like you don't think about it until someone in your family or someone that you're close to passes from it, and you're like, oh shit, like I really need to take a hard look at my life choices. And it's just, I feel like even on TikTok I just see so many different things. Colon cancer is like on the rise for young people. I'm like, what is happening? Like how's this happening? But it is kind of like a reality check too, to, you know, take care of yourself. I've seen you talk about the different phases that you go through with the grieving process, and resentment was one of the ones that you spoke on, which I thought was really not only vulnerable and eye-opening, but like very relatable too, that, you know, after your dad passed, you were looking at older members of your family being like, what?
Yeah.
Like how does this happen to someone who is younger and not someone who's older? Where are you with that?
That was something I just had to let go. I mean, I'm not God. I can't sit here and be like, F you, you're 95. But like, his mom is 95 and still alive. So love my grandma dearly. That video actually got me in trouble for posting. But it's true. It's real. And, you know, like good things or bad things happen to good people is such a true saying. My dad's family is very small. And his siblings, he has a sister and a brother, and both of them did just not live a good life. And they're still out here living. And to me, I'm like, my dad was such a good man. Granted, is he perfect? By no means. But just such a different person from the two of them. And he was the baby of the family. So I was like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did go through that. Or even like being at the gym sometimes. Or I'll see old people complaining, and I'm just like, but you're alive. So, and I'm not ever trying to, and like, that was the other thing is I realized how much I was desensitizing other people and their feelings, and they're still valid for feeling them. And so then I came back to reality, and I'm like, these people are still people too, and they're still allowed to have feelings, and they're still allowed to be stressed. Just because they're alive doesn't mean that everybody needs to be hunky-dory all day, every day, because my dad's in a hole somewhere. Like, I just had to let it go.
Yeah.
And I don't even have advice for that. It's just more like I just had to just let it go.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about you getting in trouble. About talking about your own dad, which was crazy to me. I feel like that was the first thing that I saw on my FYP of you, was talking about the fact that your stepmom, and I don't know how much you can even talk about now, because I know they were like threatening a lawsuit.
They
but
were.
You have made so much like funny content to be like, fuck you, I'm still gonna post about this.
Because when that came up, I immediately was like, my whole body was like shaking, because I'm like, oh shit. A lawsuit in general is like not something anyone wants to get threatened with, much less when it's your family. You're like, hold on.
Yeah.
Legal team said as long as you're saying factual information that you can back up, you're fine, even if you use legal names, which was good to hear. And I've only ever spoken on things that I had backup on.
Yeah.
Something that bothers me is a lot of people are like, it's crazy that this just popped off after he died. And I'm like, no, I just was silent and respectful of them my whole life. But this has been a whole life thing.
Right.
And it had just gotten to a point where like I was fine being treated like shit my whole life. And it was here and there, and whatever. It's a long story. But when that happened, I was just like, no.
Yeah.
Game over. At this point, you're done. I don't know, just the lack of respect has always been there. And my dad and his wife are Catholic. And my stepmom married a man who was divorced with 2 children. I didn't pop up 10 years later and say, by the way, you're my dad. Yeah. You willingly signed up for this. And I think that's the thing that really bothers me, because I'm just like,
you signed up for this.
Yeah. And yes, I'm an adult, but I'm still the child in this situation. And no, like, she never called to check on us. We contributed money to the funeral. Mind you, followers actually asked for a GoFundMe, and I was like, no, we don't need the funds. Like, and they were like, no, we want to contribute in some way. Thousands of dollars were donated, which is crazy. Yeah. So crazy. We gave that to her to fund the part of the funeral, but still talks shit about social media. And I'm just like, there was so much that came about from it. And like, there was a family group chat beforehand. And when it had happened, I posted, and we were lied to about the funeral time.
What?
Because she didn't want me to post it on social media. So she removed me and my husband from the family group chat. I'm literally out to dinner, my husband and I with one of my girl cousins, and her phone lights up, but ours didn't. And I was like, oh, weird, whatever. And she was like, yeah, I open it. It's my father's obituary.
That you hadn't seen.
And like nobody even realized that we were removed from the family group chat. It's like 20 people. Nobody even realized. So that night I call my brothers, all three of them. We still had a relationship at this point. I call all three. And all three had been communicated with, and were like, do not tell your sister. Yeah. And so
they listened.
And that's a different story.
I feel like my sisters would have been like, bitch, so-and-so said,
but it
blah,
was
blah.
so new, and I don't think that, like, no one knew how to navigate that at that point. So yeah, and like in the obituary, in the text message, she was asking for everyone to finalize it. So I'm reading through like what it says, and I'm like, one red flag, my little brother's girlfriend's in here, which I don't find
in the obituary.
Yeah, as like, it was literally my older brother, me, younger brothers in order, Raphael, my husband, and then the girlfriend. And then following her actual name, it said, which I don't know if you know, I called her Meet Meep online.
Meet Meep.
AKA our beloved Meet Meep.
What?
So I'm sitting here like, you hate my social medias, but it just drives me nuts.
She put it in the obituary after,
I swear to God,
slandering
literally
you for being
on my father's life.
media?
The obituary's out there. You guys can see this. Yeah.
Do you think she did that as like a fuck you to you, or was it like a, oh yeah, like we're known for this, like a clout thing?
I don't know. I honestly would say a fuck you, because it's like, if I'm not allowed to share the obituary, like, yeah, it was just weird.
I'm so confused about how this, I mean, I'm sure it began forever ago, obviously, like you said, when they got married, you and your brother were already in existence, and then they had 2 kids together.
Yeah, 2 little boys.
And so I'm just like, it doesn't just pop out of nowhere. Obviously, she's had some kind of issue or resentment or what have you for a minute.
This is hearsay.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Everything is alleged except for the facts.
Right. There has been a time when we were younger, alcohol was involved with the adults. You were supposed to be my children. So I think there's just some sort of like...
Wait, what?
That was allegedly said.
You were supposed to be my children?
Mm-hmm. Because they were high school sweethearts. And my dad didn't want to get married at the time. His friends were going to college. My dad was starting a business. They split up and got back together after my mom and my dad's divorced. And they were in their 30s at that point. So that's where I'm saying, like, it's been 30 plus years of this. And do I think she loves us? 1000%. I think she loves us dearly. I think she's been an amazing stepmom in the sense of always had things taken care of, the flights to and from, making sure we were always covered medically or whatever, fun summer activities, like stuff like that. But the way that her and her family kind of maneuver, certain people in that family is like, well, I've done this for you. And I'm like, but you've made me feel like this. So what you've done and how you've made me feel are 2 different things. And I think that that's just where we'll never align. Yeah.
It's very much like intention versus impact. And I talk about this a lot. And it's like, yeah, like you intended on being a good stepmom, but in the end, the actions that you exhibited are now making me feel alienated and isolated. I thought that you guys being out of the group chat happened over this past Christmas. I didn't know it went back to before the funeral.
A couple days before the funeral. That's where, again, I'm like, to explain this all online would, 1, take 8 million years to post. 2, why continue to give that clout? At this point, it's just like, let bygones be bygones. It just stinks. I think there's been multiple times where it's like, my youngest brother, we don't speak to right now just because he's kind of in the middle of it with like his girlfriend. And then he's also still like in my stepmom's life, living with her. So it's just hard. I also think I talk about this a lot in my personal life. My dad told us too much. He was more of our friend.
Yeah.
He loved my husband. Like, he would literally be over at our house all the time. And the week that he died, there was a big fight. between him and my stepmom, and he was over and just told us way too much.
Yeah.
And that I'm just working through with therapy, because I'm like, I'm also holding a lot of things against her that I shouldn't even know as a child.
Mm-hmm.
And like the day that we had left for Denver, because he had died in Denver, my stepmom got up and said goodbye to my little brother, but not my dad. And my dad, every time we would travel, would FaceTime her, and it was the cutest thing ever, because he would like FaceTime her and be like, hey honey, here's where we are, blah, blah. Well, the weekend that we were gone, she wasn't answering. And so when I was leaving Denver, I was going through his phone, and there were so many videos where he was talking to her in the video, basically like he was FaceTiming her. And to me, that again, like killed me, because I'm like, my dad just died feeling so unloved by his spouse, but he still loved her so much.
Yeah.
And again, that stuff where I'm just like, oh, I just hold it against her, and I just got to let that go, because it's not my heaviness to hold.
Yeah. Do you think that she holds it against you, the fact that she made the decision to leave and not say goodbye, and you were with him and she wasn't?
I don't know. I think she holds a lot against me in the simple fact of like, I was his only daughter, and we had such a great relationship. But it's just, there's fights in high school where she would say something along the lines of allegedly.
Allegedly.
Like, what are you going to do? Cry to your daddy? And I'm like, like, that's so, I don't know. It's just very odd. I don't know if there's some sort of, not anger, but like sadness. She didn't have her own daughter, and her own daughter didn't have that relationship with her husband. I don't know.
It sounds like allegedly she's mad that in high school he wasn't ready to wife her up, and he moved on and had two beautiful children and like lived his happy life, but like life brought them back together.
Yeah.
You would just think that she might
Just
be
let it go.
grateful for that, allegedly. I don't know. I don't know the
And
woman.
I'm just like, you got two great kids out of it. So I'm just like, I mean, there's so many kids out there that are stepkids that are atrocious, and not sitting here saying I'm a perfect thing. But when my dad first passed, we're still in the room with his body. And I'm immediately like, call mom, because we call her mom. And I was like, call mom. But my phone was over by him where the ambulance or the paramedics were. So I took my little brother's phone, and she was mad that I didn't call her. I was like, I was on his phone. But she didn't answer at that time. And it's just like ever since then, and like day one, I was like, holy shit. I literally called my best friend, and I was like, you need to get us on the next flight out. I was like, here's all my Delta information. Here's everybody on the trip. Figure it out. We got to go to the hospital. We got to deal with all this stuff. Because I'm sitting here like, she's alone. I could never, ever imagine all of my children and after my spouse just died, and I'm sitting in a house alone.
Yeah.
It was me that said, get on the next flight out. Not my little brothers, not her kids. They were just like, which again, we're all experiencing different things, but my initial instinct was kicking in of like daughter mode for her.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I think there's just so much where I'm like, oh well.
Yeah.
Move along.
Do you think that there's a possibility for reconciliation? Are you even looking for that right now? It's still fresh.
It's okay to forgive, and I have forgiven. I think that's something that's really big that I had to work through in therapy of like, I can forgive without having to sit down and have that conversation, and I hope one day she forgives me for whatever I've done to her that she is holding against me. But there's no relationship there. The damage is so far gone, and again, it's not just like the last year and a half. It's been a long time coming, and then the certain things, oh my God, it gets me so angry. The certain things that were done, like, she's a very smart woman. I was in Chicago for my best friend's batch trip, and she sent my little brother with a list of items to gather from our house.
What?
Oh, yeah. And my husband is such a like, fuck it. Come on in. Get what you need.
Because she knew you were going to be out of town?
She knew I was gone. She followed me on social media. So she sent my little brother over there, and my little brother pulled up, and my husband called me and was like, hey, just so you're aware, your brother's here to grab a lot of the belongings that your dad, because mind you, when he died, they were just selling their house and moving into a new home. So a lot of stuff was stored at our place. But there were certain things that like my dad had given me that she had on the list to take, and we just let it all go. We're like, it's possession. It's not coming back. But stuff like that, like she's done everything to just get further and further down. And I'm just like to hurt me. And I'm just like, at this point, you can't come back from that. If it was just certain things where I'm like, okay, maybe we could talk through this. But that's just like, that just shows your intentions as a human being. And if you're intentionally, maliciously hurting people, not even just people, but like your own kids.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It was the Instagram story thing for me when you said that you had blocked certain people in your family from seeing your stories. And then one day you're casually on Instagram and you see that your dad, who is passed, is watching your stories. And you're like, wait a minute.
I didn't even think anything of it. That is one thing I do talk about, or I haven't talked about enough, but I do in my personal life of like, so many people will, when I post videos of him, they're like, oh, I wish I had this. I wish I had this. But for me, it's a different type of grief because sometimes I don't think it's real. TikTok still exists. All these videos still exist. And to me, I still look very similar. So to me, it's like he's not gone because it's still so real. So when I saw that, I literally didn't think anything of it. And then a second clicked in and I'm like, damn, he's dead. So then you're also like, it just is like a stabbing of like, why?
Yeah.
So I went through a phase of blocking, but you know, like when people make a new account, it'll be like, people you may know from your contacts. I'm like, she doesn't even know that. So at this point, I just stopped blocking her. And it's like random usernames. And I'm like, if you want so badly to be a fan, just be a fan.
Yeah.
Just be a fan.
Yeah. That's so tough.
Isn't it great?
No.
Relationships.
I want to fight.
Same.
No, it's something that so many people go through. Like when you posted about not being invited to the family Christmas, and I went through the comments and saw how many people were like, or who stitched the video and been like, me too, like same, I'm not invited to go see my family for the holidays.
Yeah.
There's so many people who are going through something so similar to that. What is your advice for people who are feeling alienated from their family or having these issues? Because I feel like I don't give a shit if it's your mom, your grandma, your auntie, your sister.
Right.
Like no one is entitled to your time, to details about your life. Like I feel like you can cut anybody off at any time, but I think that's a Scorpio in me.
Yeah, that is the Scorpio in you.
Yeah, I'm like, everybody can get cut off.
My favorite brother is a Scorpio, and I'm just like, oh, you're ruthless. He scares me.
We are like that. But like, I don't care if it's your dog. Like, you can cut anybody out at any time.
Not the dogs.
They look at you the wrong
Not
way.
the dogs.
Cut them out.
They're just
kidding.
babies.
No, not my dog. Not my dog, but other people's dog.
Yeah. Something that again, being a stepchild, it's a little different. I've always like just wanted to be included. And not that I wasn't included, but like truly wanted there.
Yeah.
And the older I've gotten, I've realized, why did I even want to be sitting at this table? Like, why did I want an invite to this dinner? And I look around, I'm like, I don't even like you guys.
Yeah.
Like, I love you, but there's certain people in the family, like if I were to meet you in real life, I would be like, peace and blessings, goodbye.
Yeah.
So I think having a blended family has really taught me that it's not about blood. That never has mattered to me. And just really putting a lot of energy into the people who do show up for me and that I do truly love, and they love me back, and really just making sure that like my husband and I are my family. Like that is our family. And I know that sounds messed up, but it's like my mom, his mom, like they're our secondary family now. When we signed that, like we signed up to be number one for each other, and we're building our own tables. And we all want to be invited. Like everyone wants to be included. From 5 years old, you want to be included to the birthday parties. And then high school, you want to be asked to prom. And it's like, we're almost having to unlearn this stereotypical have to be included to be loved. And it's like, I just don't care about being loved by 100 pennies anymore. It's like, let's build the table that we've got here and go from there.
Yeah.
It's hard though, especially being a female, because you're just like, what did I do? Like, why do you not like me? Or I have a million people that are like, wait, you're doing so many amazing things, but it's like these people, these 10 in my family are like, you suck. And I'm just like, wait, what?
Yeah.
So
I was going to ask you, since he's here and all, how has your husband cared for, nurtured you into, I guess, being more at peace? Like, how has he shown up for you, and what's your advice for other spouses and partners to be able to show up for their partner who's grieving?
Originally, I think this is another thing coming from a griever. You don't check on the other people, because like I kind of explained grief as in waves, and I was wave one. Like kids and spouse are pretty much wave one. Then it's like siblings and aunts and uncles, cousins, and then it's the friends to family. Like each wave is different. I don't think I even checked on him for like months. And he never made it, like, he never once was like struggling on his own. And then there was a couple months down the line where I could tell, like, I finally asked him. And then, so I think that's something from a griever standpoint. I feel like it's still important for us to check on other people, or like one of my girlfriend, or she's not a girlfriend, she's my cousin. Months had went past and I didn't check on her either. And so I do give that advice now to people, like, even though you might be grieving, give yourself a couple of days, but still check on your people too, because they just lost somebody too.
Yeah.
But flip, Raphael has just always been my constant since day one. Even before we started dating, like, I was with a loser and
Yes.
he was in my life, and he just kept reminding me, we're better than this, like, keep going. And he didn't want anything out of it. So just throughout our relationship, I've always been huge into, like, love is not enough for any relationship. And I'm huge into talking about, like, your long-term goals. Yeah, do you want to be parents one day? Sure. Like, do you want to retire one day? Sure. But that's like the basics.
Yeah.
When your kids move out and now you're retired and it's back to just the two of you guys, what are you working for? Who are you as human beings? And we talked about that a lot in one of our previous episodes of, like, we need to set our goals. Like, what are our goals? And anything that, any bump in the road, any friendship loss, any death, like, we still are focused on our goals, and we're very, like, and I know that sounds very, like, transactional, but I think that really helped me, because even when I was down bad, he was like, but we're going to get up and we're going to do this because it's for here. And I think that was actually very important for me for a few days. Like, they definitely, like my mom came to stay with us, and they let me just feel, and I was really depressed. But then it was like, I never experienced depression. And he was like, let's get up and let's do this. Even going for a walk, because I'm huge into mental health, of, like, staying strong.
Yeah.
And I'm all for taking a little bit of time, but I'm also like, I don't want that time to just become now, like, the new comfort. You get it? Like, when you're, like, so many people are, like, down bad, and then it just becomes such a habit of being down bad, and they don't know how to get out of it. And then you're in a full life rut, and then you're like, you're rebranding basically months down the road.
Yeah.
And he was just like, let's go do this, or like, let's go to dinner. And nobody really even talked about it either. I think that was the other really big thing for myself. Nobody was like, how are you? They were like, let's go grab dinner. Or Raphael was really big into, like, just doing the laundry, simple things, because people are like, what do you need? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't even know what I'm thinking right now.
Yeah.
Much less do I know if my underwear is dirty or not. Like, just do the laundry. But really just staying to, like, if you really have a path in life that you guys are both working on, no matter what bump comes, if your partner knows, just step in however you normally would step in. Obviously giving grace. Like, there's some days where it was like, just not today.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't really know. I don't know. I just feel like it was just almost normal. And I think that was honestly what helped me. And so many people are like, you've healed so quickly. And I'm like, well, I just kept going. Like, I just, life didn't stop for me, which is sad. But I was like, something I still to this day say is, like, how with anything you go through, you can either become bitter or you can come better. And I was like, he's gone. Nothing I do is going to bring him back. If I cry all day, every day, like, it's just not going to bring him back. So I'm like, how can I make this better? How can I help other people? How can I continue towards my long-term goals? And Raphael was just really good, constant. I know that was just like a very long-winded answer, and that lots of different things, but
it's the best.
He's just a baby. He's just a little guy.
First of all, I love when you mimic him with that voice that you do.
What's funny is I didn't even, for the longest time, I didn't even know that was a thing until people in my comments were like, I was like, oh, I guess I do that.
It's so good because I want to mimic my boyfriend the same way whenever he gets on my nerves. But instead, it's very like, if he says, I don't know, anything that he could possibly say, I'm like, like,
yeah,
just
literally.
Like
whenever they're annoying, that's how I hear it. I'm
yeah,
like,
it's just gnawing.
That's how you sound to me right now.
But then I'm like, how do I sound to you? Because I'm sure it's worse.
Oh, Raphael's he's got one that he does for me.
How does it sound?
I couldn't even mimic it. I really couldn't even mimic it.
It's bad. It's damaging. It's damaging.
No, it's actually beautiful, you guys. He thinks I'm an angel. It's like, fine.
It's me. It's like a lovely, like soft Marilyn Monroe voice. Yeah. He doesn't have a mic, so he doesn't have a choice.
Don't give him that power. Never give him the mic.
Have a choice in the matter. Okay, well, we have one of our listeners who is dealing with some family shit, and we are all dealing with family shit. I don't know. My family, not in the best way, has always been very, like, keep it in the family. Like
all
keep
families
it in,
are like that.
it's like very like keep it behind closed doors.
Put it under
like,
the rug.
Don't talk about it. And I'm like, okay, like this is not reality. Everybody's dealing with the same things. It's just we don't talk about it. So that's why I feel like it's just so lovely to hear you talking about your family drama, because we all have this.
My family hates me for it, but it's okay.
Oh well.
We're changing lives out here, okay?
We're changing lives. Okay. All right, here we go. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. My cousin invited our entire family to her wedding except for my parents and I. There was never any falling out prior to this, but we were not super close with them either. We were very hurt by this decision, and when my dad tried to talk to his brother about resolving any issues there might be and asked why we were not invited, the only answer we were given was because they wanted it to be a special day and thought that we would cause problems or drama. How can I move forward and let go of resentment?
I'm such a realist, though. There's got to be something that has happened to make them feel that way.
To not invite.
Yeah. Or to say, like, we don't want drama. I don't know. I'm a huge person of looking in the mirror. And if you look in the mirror and you're like, no, I know 1000% I did the right thing and I don't cause drama, I'm confused, that's a different story. But if you do look in the mirror and you're like, hey, no, I know where we've caused drama, I can see this, that's a different story too. So one, start by looking in the mirror. And if you stand firm in who you are and what you've done and all you've put out is goodness, you just got to let it go. I mean, do you even want to be there at that wedding anyways? Like that goes back into being invited. Like, why are we begging for a seat? And then you look around and you're like, oh, okay. But if you have had some issues or you've done things where you're like, oh, I could see where people would like say that about us. That's something where it's like, okay, the first step is acknowledgement and saying, I want to be invited to the next one. So like, what can I do to prove that I'm no longer like that or whatever the case may be? I don't know. That's very hard because I'm a very like top of the fence person. Either way, I do think it's kind of messed up because I think you do deserve the conversation beforehand.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean,
what would you say to that?
I feel like it's obviously hurtful.
Yeah.
Like to not be included in family anything. But I am also coming from a place of, on my dad's side of the family, we're never included in anything. Like my uncle was my dad's brother. He was the closest person that we were with in his family. Like nobody ever checked up on us. We never got birthday cards. We never got like happy birthday call, nothing. But we would be expected to provide birthday presents, birthday calls, whatever. And, you know, I just grew up not feeling included in that. But my mom's side of the family, we're very, very close. My mom only has one sister and she has 5 kids, and her daughter, who is around my age, and we're cousins, but we're like sisters.
Yeah.
And she has 2 boys, and they're technically my cousins, but I call them my nephew cousins because they're really my children. Actually, I gave birth to them.
They're just my babies.
They're just my babies. They're my little boys. I love them so much. And so I never felt like I was missing out on family because I had my cousins and because I have so many sisters. I have 5 younger sisters. So like I've always felt like I have family. But then you do have those moments of like, we only really see my dad's family when there's a funeral. Like somebody has to die for us to be able to get together. And then when we do get together, I don't know anything about anybody. Like I don't even know everybody's names.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy because I'm sure that, you know, when they're out in spaces, they might talk about me, their niece or their cousin or, you know, whatever, who's doing all these things.
Yeah.
Maybe they do support me. Maybe they don't. I don't really know. I don't really care because I don't really think about it. But that's because it's so normalized now that I'm just like, this is the way life is. I have my cousins, I got my sisters, and like from my mom's side, and that's about it. That being said, this is a PSA to my whole family that I don't speak to. Y'all not coming to the wedding.
Right.
You're not coming.
Right.
But that's because I don't know y'all.
Yeah.
Sorry. But that's a very extreme because I literally don't know.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even know where to send the invitation.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Every family is so situational. Like exactly like what I said, you don't know the full story based on what email comes in or a DM. But I do think something that I live by is that that's a them problem. And we talk about that a lot of like, if you're not invited, or say, for example, like your dad's family not getting to know you, that's a them problem. You were just a kid.
Yeah.
That had nothing to do with you. You did nothing wrong. You weren't, unless you were up there like burning their house down for funsies.
Did do that
like,
once.
I mean, well then,
it's a dark talk. No, but I come from a blended family too.
Yeah.
So like that's another thing. It's like there's so many layers to every situation, and yeah, it is a them problem because like you're missing out.
Yeah. I really go back into, I say this all the time, like I'm a huge advocate of like, we determine our own self-worth. Not my mom, not my dad, not my husband. Like nobody is going to sit here in front of me. If I'm holding a blank piece of paper and my eyes are closed, right? I give you a piece of paper that's in the shape of a bill, right? And your eyes are closed. What are you going to hope that bill is?
$1, $100.
Right. You're going to hope it's $100.
Yeah.
Your hope is 100. But what is like, okay, realistically, you're like, what do you think it is?
It's a coupon.
Right. But when you open your eyes, it's whatever you make it. Like we are whatever we want to be. Why am I sitting here worried about what the Chads, Brads, Susies are saying about me and my mom? Like we get to determine our own value. And if people don't want us there, I don't care, but it doesn't diminish my dollar or my $100, whatever you believe in. I don't know. I can talk about that all day long. It's like, again, you get the invite, but you're not even wanted there. Why do you want to be there? Then you show up with a card and you just waste your money, your time, your energy. Cool, for a free meal and somewhere that they're literally like, we didn't want you here anyways, but enjoy your meal.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard. It's hard, especially when it's family.
And doesn't, the food might not even be good.
Yeah, it's probably not good.
It's probably not good.
Our wedding food wasn't even that great.
What?
Honestly, the chicken was fire, but the steak was not as... Steak's hard to cook, okay? For 200 plus people in the same 10-minute window.
Oh my God.
I was like, I'm glad I ordered chicken.
Everyone that was at your wedding that got the steak is listening to this like, oh, I'm so glad.
Those broke bitches.
I'm so glad she said something because that steak was... No, that is, like, that's hard. I've been thinking about the menu for the wedding that I haven't been proposed to have yet, but I do know who's going to be invited and who's not.
Right. Dad's family, no go.
No, sorry. He doesn't even know that, but...
I think
you don't gotta come either.
Why do we have so much guilt? Too?
Nobody
That's
gotta come.
Thing. Yeah,
I've been telling my soon-to-be husband, we can elope.
Not the tea.
We're not married yet.
I know, but
I don't have the ring. We were talking about.
I know.
Catherine's ring stack is my dream. It's so beautiful.
Thank you. People are always like, he did so good. I was like, what are you talking about?
Like, I built this shit.
Right. I'm like, do you know what I do for a living? I sent the link. Okay.
Yeah, literally. Oh my God, that's why.
All he had to do was add to cart. Check out.
Yeah, exactly. We made it very simple.
Right.
I'm sure it was a beautiful proposal, though. Oh.
Anyways, next question. That is one thing I will cuss him out over, you guys. So fine. No, I literally was on a flight with a girl last week, and she had gotten proposed to, and she literally was like, run it back, do it again. Dead serious.
That's me.
Okay.
That's
I had
me.
2 rules, Kamie. There needed to be a photographer, and it can't be in a restaurant.
Yeah.
Do you want to know the 2 rules that were broken?
There was no photographer, and it was in a restaurant.
Ding, ding, ding. You're a smart gal.
How could you? Why would you
fine.
do this? He's going like,
fine.
yes.
It's
like,
fine.
He fucking nailed it.
Yep.
So there was no photo evidence that this proposal even happened?
Oh, his mom's iPhone and my mom's iPhone? Or my mom's Samsung? Yeah. I actually never even said yes. I literally asked him to get up, and then he put his hands on my face, and I asked him to stop touching me. And then someone from across the restaurant was like, did you say yes? And I literally just went like this. And I sat down, and I drank my champagne.
Me.
But it sounds so ungrateful.
No, because why would you disrespect the rules? You had 2 rules. Mine are never at any kind of sporting event whatsoever. I don't want to be on a jumbotron.
See, I would have even been fine with that.
No.
Yeah, you're right. It wouldn't have been my first choice, but...
No. Also, must have photographer and videographer present. And one of my choosing. Don't try to go rogue and invite some crazy ass, like, 1950s film camera person that takes 500 years to be able to reload the fucking film, and then you miss the moments.
I sent him photographers on Instagram. But he listened to my stepmother, so my stepmom, her friend...
Oh, she's been a op.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. She's been...
Mind you, okay, the photographer...
In the first place.
So my stepmom loves her friend, which I love, and her friend's daughter is my age. So she kind of follows suit in a lot of what she does. And I'm like, let me be my own person. Okay, I don't need to do what she's doing. But she loves her. So she wants me to fit the mold. And her photographer was busy that day or just never responded or something like that. I was like, you fuckers knew this 2 weeks in advance.
Yeah.
Like anybody, and mind you, Kamie, I do photography at this time. Like I have my own camera equipment at home. I was like, you could have literally put my brother across the room with my lens and said, snap away.
Or put a tripod up and set a timer.
Thank you. It was a mess, but it's fine. I love him so much. And my father was present. So I'm like, that's the other thing. Like I can't, God knew. Yeah. And that's all that I can say. My dad died like 5 months after our wedding. We were actually just talking about, we're just short of 2 years of being married. And I'm like, huh? It feels like it's been 8 years. It feels like it's been 8 days. Yeah. But I just feel like grief right afterwards. Like I don't know. Yeah. But the proposal was okay. I can't wait for him to ask for our 5-year redo.
Oh, no, definitely.
I know, it's going to be phenomenal.
No, it's going to be amazing.
When you see it on TikTok, I probably planned the whole thing. I probably
like white drapery everywhere.
I'm probably going to have a little skit for him to do. All right, you're going to do this. You're going to stand like this. You're going to get on this knee. Make sure it's the left knee, not the right knee, because the left knee is better for the angle. Yeah.
There will be choreography involved.
Yeah. I never thought I would be that girly, but now I'm like, no, I want those photos.
You have to have pics or it didn't happen.
Yeah.
Are you even married?
No. I don't think so.
We need to run.
We don't even file our taxes together. So are we married? What's the benefit here, man? He does my laundry. That's good. Not a lot of men do that.
No, that's great.
Yeah. He drives.
That's good. There are perks.
What are the other good things he does? No, I think I nailed him.
That's good.
I'm just playing.
He's the best. He's like, get the microphone in here right now.
Right.
Unfortunately, we don't have time. Katherine.
Yes. I do want to say, you guys, I'm just joking. Yes. And online, I joke a lot with Ruffy, but he's literally the best man to ever exist, and I love him so much. And real love truly is out there. I know, like, a lot of people do talk shit online, and I am one of those people, but like, real love is real.
Well, I feel like nobody can joke about my partner but me. Like, of course, like, I'm gonna joke about him, right? But when other people take it seriously, you're like, this is a joke.
I actually love when my followers make fun of him. They call him Paperboy. Like, if Raphael's ever don't get me started on the rap career that ended a long time ago. His name was Paperboy.
My boyfriend had a rap career too.
They all did.
I call him by his rap name all the time. He'll be like, shut the fuck up. I'm like, okay.
He had a lot of careers that ended. I'm glad the one that pays our bills and the benefits didn't end.
Yes, thank God.
So I'm glad there's one out there, but I love you. You're succeeding at a lot in life.
Oh.
Did we hit it all?
With you being number one.
Right.
Of course, naturally.
Right.
Thank you so much for coming on. I knew this was going to be great. I just had a feeling. I just knew we would. It's the Libra Scorpio thing.
I know.
Tell everyone where they can find you.
Everywhere. I'm on Instagram, TikTok. Catty Ebbs on TikTok. Don't ask. Long story. Katherine Ebbs on Instagram. We have I Think I'm Human Too, which we're shooting with you. Yeah, I'm so excited. But yeah, everywhere. We're just laughing somewhere. We are on YouTube, primarily just podcast stuff. Yeah. We don't do like the vlogging. I can't add more to my day.
So much.
I'm tired.
It's so much work.
I'm tired.
I'm sorry. I can't with all that. I gotta just on the days when I'm like, oh, content. Oh, this is my job. Whoops. Let me make this video. Hey.
Right.
Day in the life of me going to forget about my job.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
I appreciate you.
Thanks for joining us.
We'll see you next episode.
Yes.
Well, she will. I won't.
Well, you might be. Who knows? It's going to be permanent. New announcement.
Right. We're co-hosts. Bye.
Thank you all for listening. Bye.